Today on this quick hitter all Dodgers podcast news update thing, whatever you want to call it, there's problems. Guys, there's problems. There's injuries. We got news on Bazooka, Brusdar Graterol. You got news on Clayton Kershaw. You got news on Miguel Rojas. There's Austin Barnes in there. A whole bunch of stuff has developed here minutes or hours before first pitch in Game 3 against the Padres. And we're going to break it all down real quick and react here on another edition of the All Dodgers podcast. Yeah, so this video will probably be a little bit different, a little reactionary, a little overreactionary, a little newsy, because that's the core of what we're talking about here. But first, if you don't know me, my name is Clint Pasillas. Find me as Real FRG on the Instagram, on the Twitter. Longtime baseball writer, sports editor. I've been talking about the Dodgers here on YouTube for many a year, and now I do it here on my own YouTube channel. So consider hitting that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. Really hit that thumbs up button if you're annoyed at the continued injury woes for these Los Angeles Dodgers. But let's get into it. It was a crazy slew of updates Thursday afternoon, a little bit before Game 3 against the Padres. But the biggest one, I'm going to do these kind of in order of importance. The biggest one, Bazooka Graterol, Brusdar Graterol, Bazooka. I'm combining them all right there. Going back on the injured list, the shoulder started barking on him again, and got an itchy nose. Apparently, I'm allergic to bad news right now because losing Graterol, this is a massive blow. This is absolutely a massive blow for a team that is struggling in the pitching department, struggling in the starting pitching department. They need as many healthy bodies that could bridge maybe the fourth inning through the ninth inning, fifth inning through the ninth inning, whatever. Graterol is one of those guys who can come into a game and get you outs quick any inning, at absolutely any point. But it does not sound promising. It does not sound like Graterol will be back this year. Do not be surprised if you hear something even worse coming soon, the dreaded S word, surgery, because it doesn't sound good. But according to Jack Harris here, Dave Roberts said Graterol had been battling a shoulder injury all year, described his status right now as, quote, week to week, which kind of maybe puts him out of postseason contention. Let's just say, yeah, it puts him out of postseason contention. I'm going to do what Dave Roberts isn't capable of doing. I'm telling you right now, you will not see Brusdar Graterol again this season, this year in 2024. But continued. Did Harris. Graterol couldn't play catch after his outing against the Padres on Tuesday, was sent for a scan that showed, quote, some things going on in his shoulder. So with that, right-hander, the rookie Ben Kasparius is back. He's somebody who is very much now pitching for a role on this team, and now we also understand why the Dodgers called up Edgardo Henriquez this week. It wasn't to get him a look. It was because they had a fear. They knew something was going on with Brusdar Graterol. So these two kids, particularly Kasparius and Henriquez, are pitching for a postseason role. They are pitching for a postseason job. Maybe both of them. Who knows? Who knows who else falls apart and explodes or unalives themselves on the ride home or whatever it is. Their pinky decides to just fall off. There are problems with this team. Anthony Banda should be back at some point soon. Of course, he's another one who had the freak incident with the hitting of the paper towel machine, as he put it, fractured a tiny bone in his hand. But anyways, there's your Graterol situation. Again, we'll talk more about Graterol, all of the injuries, and recap the game tonight on the channel right after the game, post-game show. Tube in right here. But let's now talk Clayton Kershaw. Going to pause here to help pay the bills, and I'm going to let you know that BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. It's also there for baseball, but we should be talking about football right now. Football season is here. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, even live odds and spreads while the games are being played, so you can use those. Make your bets during the games. If you think you know your stuff, you could also get in on their $200,000 mega contest. Pick 5 against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200K. If the game is over, if there's not a game happening, head on over to their online casino, get in on a game of blackjack, get in on a game of poker, or unwind with over 150 slot games right there available at your fingertips. Head to the website today, get in on the action. Bet online, the game starts here. So Clayton Kershaw, the other pitching injury update. Not as much of a surprise when you're talking about Clayton, but Dave Roberts also said that Clayton is, quote, not a viable option to pitch at this point in time. He's still dealing with whatever it is. It was the toe at first, but they have since kind of done some of their linguistic gymnastics, we'll call it, which I struggle to even say it. I don't know how the Dodgers do this thing where they just, I don't know if they lie, but sometimes there's lies. There's very much lies in there. But yeah, Kershaw, let's just say what Dave can't tell you right now. If he's not going to be a viable option for a couple of weeks, Clayton Kershaw is done for the season. I'm the one reporting it. I have zero insight. This is just my gut telling me that the guy who was most likely not going to pitch and who now, days before the start of the postseason or days before the end of the regular season, is not pitching. He's just kind of keeping his arm loose, but can't throw a baseball with conviction because of whatever's going on in his body, whether it be his foot or something else, because Dave alluded to something else, but gave the option to reveal that. He's letting Kershaw be the one to tell media, which he's going to love. Clayton loves talking about his injuries. But yes, to pin it nicely, Clayton Kershaw is done this season. And that's fine. He wasn't really going to factor in when you look at the last few weeks, really the last month of the season. He wasn't going to be a factor in the postseason as it was. So the next biggest, maybe even honestly bigger than Clayton Kershaw's situation, is the Miguel Rojas situation. So with Miggy Rowe, unfortunately, we saw him exit the game yesterday with what was termed as a groin issue. We now learned, thanks to the magic of an MRI, that there is a strain or a tear in the adductor muscle in his groin. I think they said it was his left groin. So that's a problem when you're talking about an old man playing shortstop in the postseason at the highest level, and he's got a tear in his groin, and they're going to keep playing him. So the plan is Miggy Rowe is going to get an injection, some sort of shot to try to help alleviate the pain, bring down some of that inflammation in there, and he's going to play through it. He's going to give this team everything he's got through the postseason. Hopefully it's a deep run with all of the injuries, all the concerns. Do not be surprised if it's not a deep run, but we're going to try to pretend we're positive right now. Even through all of this bad news, we're going to pretend we're positive. I gotta say, I'm not a big fan. As I say, let's be positive. I gotta say, I'm not a big fan of old man Miggy Rowe playing on a partially torn groin or a torn groin. That is a problem. That is a concern for me. The Dodgers do have a backup at shortstop in Tommy Edman. He's played a lot of shortstop. He's played some shortstop for this team. Will be playing shortstop until Miggy Rowe is back in the lineup, which could be Sunday in the finale in Colorado. That's what the Dodgers said initially, but they might just give him more time, not play him that day, give him those few days off, presuming the Dodgers secure at least that number 2 seed and get that bye series. Miggy Rowe might not play again until game 1 of the NLDS, or he could play on that Sunday, but he's going to be playing injured. Throw another one on the list for the Dodgers, another injury. Tommy Edman, again, he'll be the backup at shortstop, and I don't know if it's not even a silver lining, but and I don't know if it's technically fully related, but it kind of is. But Dave Roberts did confirm that Andy Pages will be on the postseason roster, so he's somebody who can play some center, even if that's not his most gifted position. He can play some center field if Tommy Edman needs to move in and play shortstop. So again, just more problems, more little nagging things, or big nagging things, or massive injuries that take pitchers and players and people out of the running for the postseason. If you want your slight bit of good news, if you're calling it good news, Austin Barnes is back. So that's a thing, right? Anyways, there's the news of the day. Sorry I couldn't bring better news. Usually I don't do these kind of quick update videos anymore, or at least I haven't during the season, but there's so much here, so much at stake, so much important that just dropped. I figured give y'all a little update in case you can't get to waiting and asking questions and watching the news, and not the news, but watching the pregame and waiting for all of this news dump and the fear. Now I'll be here for you a little bit sooner. But anyways, that's about it. I am Clint Pasillas on the social media. Sorry, I'm Clint Pasillas in real life. I'm Real FRG on the social medias. Give me a follow if you wouldn't mind. All Dodgers is presented by Bet Online. Go check out Bet Online if you would not mind. Part of the Believe network of podcasts. Anyways, tune in tonight, post-game show right after the final pitch. Hopefully the Dodgers win. Hopefully we're popping bottles and getting one more piece of good news today, or at least one piece at all of good news, that being that the Dodgers have secured their 11th National League West championship in the last 12 years. That's what we want to see. Go Dodgers. Go Walker Buehler.